color is the sky? Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. You tell me that it's red. Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. Where should I put my shoes? Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. You say put them on your head. Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor.
Hey everybody, it's Neil with the Dastardly Gentleman. And we have Frank with us too.
Hey y'all!
And that was Un Poco Loco from Coco.
From Coco.
Because we're going to talk a little bit about Coco today. Just a little bit. Frank,
What?
did you go into Coco thinking you were going to hate it?
I did. I actually was like, I'm like, this movie is gonna be fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I saw the trailers and I'm like, I have zero interest in this movie, but I have, children, and so I'm like, I'll watch it with them.
Right.
And it ended up being amazing. Like I loved everything about that movie. I'm singing that movie's praises, and it surprises me because normally I'm not really one for movies that are potentially emotional.
Right.
Because I'm not a super emotional person, and I don't like movies that try to make me feel. I don't enjoy that sometimes. But this one was actually just really good. I mean, it was well animated because it's Disney, obviously. But like the music was really good, and the story was actually really good, and the art direction was excellent.
Okay.
So I was overall very, very impressed with that movie. And then I thought that I was afraid that it was going to get overindulgent in the cultural material, and it didn't. It did just enough for it like to be believable, and then it gave you kind of like a background on what you're looking at and why you're looking at it. It wasn't trying to like shove it down your throat or whatever. I mean, I was I enjoyed it. I did.
I thought it was a wonderful movie. I thought that there was nothing like, there was no agenda really about it. It was just a heartwarming story, really.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that like I think I really did enjoy about it is that it didn't feel like somebody was trying to convince me of something.
Right.
And I think that's where we're at right now in a lot of movies, is that it feels like people are trying to convince you of a particular thing. I mean, like there's a difference between having theme and then being like a setup propaganda piece. And I feel like a lot of movies right now are not even tiptoeing that line anymore. They're just kind of flopping on one side or the other. And I'm not really a fan of any deeply divisive message one way or the other. I mean, like, I don't like that. I mean, if you have a good story, I'm pumped. If the theme of your movie coincides with everything else that's doing it without trying to like make me like change my method of thinking in one direction or another, like strongly, then awesome. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It had a heartwarming message, but it wasn't trying to be politically active, and I love that. I love that because it felt good to watch it.
Right. I mean, you get that pretty much everywhere now. I mean, I get what people are trying to do. They're trying to spread awareness for certain topics. Blah blah blah. But I mean, you get a lot of shows nowadays that are just putting in social issues just because they can, and it's not advancing the story in any way. It's not like
it's that click, dude. I mean, like they want that view. They want that it's funny because you can almost tell like what's going to happen, like what kind of shows are going to come out depending on like I mean, obviously like the political climate. And it's almost kind of sad to watch these almost ambulance chaser type the shows and movies come out.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me go like, I mean, did we have to do that though? I mean, couldn't we like just had like a good movie? I mean, I'm gonna come out and flat say it, Black Panther. I mean, like I haven't even seen it, but for the people that have seen it, and people that I've read of what's happened with it, I'm disappointed in that they felt the need to go this route for Black Panther.
I mean, you knew it was coming.
I know, but here's my thing though. Black Panther is amazing. Irregardless of like the political message, Black Panther, as originally intended as a character, going through the years, was a fantastic character, and I've always loved Black Panther. I've always loved reading Black Panther comics. I mean, everything about it was awesome, and I thought it was a very strong character. And then, this movie comes out, and I'm like, isn't this like really kind of? I felt like from what I'm reading, and from things that people are praising, I feel like the movie is a step backward.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in storytelling, because it's not about the story anymore. Because if you really boil down the story, it's really not very interesting at all.
Do you think that it's a sign of the times, like the current situation that pretty much this country in general, or even the planet right now, is going through right now? Or do you think that?
No, I don't actually. You
think it's just a couple of people or a boardroom full of people making stupid decisions?
It's not just that. I mean, there is a core group of people who don't understand what they're talking about, and then they perpetuate that echo chamber mentality to their friends and their friends and their friends and their friends, and so then you have like a very small group of people that feel a particular way, and then they make something. Then the media is like, oh, look at this group of people that we can cater to, that are presently feeling like they're being devalued or dehumanized or whatever, and we can make something that's going to supercharge them. It's a guaranteed niche audience. I mean, like if you calculate, how much is it going to take us to make the movie? How much is it going to take us to put all these theaters? How many people do we think on average are going to be like this particular core audience that will definitely go see this movie no matter what? Okay, that's our audience. That's our budget.
Right.
So, I mean, like, boom, then you make the movie, and then the exact turnout that you're expecting for like an identifiable group of people is going to go, and then anybody else that goes is extra change. And it's kind of sad, like I said, because Black Panther is fantastic. It could have been an excellent story with no political message. And I'm not saying that you don't have a theme. You have a theme, that's fine. Having a theme is okay, but having like a very, very specific and negative political message is not fine. They perpetuating something that's inherently it's not dishonest, but it's inherently divisive is generally not good.
Sure. Yeah. The reason why I asked that is because, like, okay, so there's some movies out there that, like I said, I haven't seen Black Panther, so I can't. We're going off of what people are saying and what people are writing and blah blah blah
right.
blah. So without actually watching it for ourselves, we have to just look at the blowback from it.
And that's my thing. I mean, like, I had a hard time. I wanted to go see it, but I also didn't want to go see it. And I'm like, do I want to give my money to a movie that's, that openly feels in a way that I don't feel is, essentially right? Do I want to support that? And then I kind of cogitated on it. And the movie was, I'm in a small town right now, so the movie was only here for like a week.
Right.
So I don't have much time to think about it.
Well, my follow-up question to that is it really that way, or are people just so quick to jump on the bandwagon nowadays to cry about an issue that might not even be there? I mean, I think that might be the case too, because even if you look at, like, what was it? There was a movie with, what's the dude's name? Rami Malek. He's the star of Mr. Robot.
Right.
And there was a movie he was going to be in about the Egyptians or whatever. And, freaking people on Twitter were going nuts saying, oh yeah, you're going to pick a white person to play an Egyptian. And he is Egyptian.
Yeah.
So people are like losing their shit for nothing. They're like crying wolf when it's not even fucking there. So I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things about this particular, I guess, subject is that you have a small group of people who are like the vocal minority. The majority of people would never think like that particular way. I'll be like, Ray Malek's going to play an Egyptian. Well, that's stupid. I mean, like, so oh, gonna get a white man to play like a minority person's role. And like, okay, first of all, you know, most people I have ever talked to in my life would probably never say that.
Nobody cares.
I mean, like, really, nobody cares. I mean, like, so the one time I really got kind of a giggle at shit like that was Gods of Egypt, because they let Gerard Butler keep his accent. And I'm like, this is dumb. I mean, he's supposed to, wasn't he playing like Osiris? I'm like, you're playing an Egyptian god and you have a Scottish fucking accent. I'm like, that's fucking objectively funny.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, you have like these people that are kind of trying to do like at least half-ass like a faux accent. Then you got Gerard Butler like swooping in on like some mythical Egyptian beast, like, I'm gonna go to the land of the dead and I'm gonna become the great king of the afterlife. And I'm like, this doesn't feel to me like he should be fighting Ra.
That's just bad acting. I mean, like,
no, that's him making a paycheck.
Well, that too.
That's them being like, we're gonna make this. We're gonna take the guy who played Jaime Lannister. We're gonna take Jeffrey Rush. So, you know, star from Game of Thrones, star from Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're gonna take Gerard Butler, and we're gonna stick him into a movie that's just absolutely loaded with CGI. It's gonna be a visual feast. And, you know, it's just gonna make millions. That's just how it's gonna work, because we have all this star power in it. And then people watch the movie and they're like, this movie is fucking stupid. I mean, this movie is terrible. I mean, like, everything about this movie is fucking dumb.
I mean, you look at that movie, okay, and then like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You got fucking,
oh my god.
You got Kevin Costner and you got Christian Slater just being awful at being Englishmen. Like, just
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was one of the most tragic pieces I think I've ever unfortunately been around, because I mean, like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, this movie's amazing. But then, like, as I've like grown older and I watched the movie again, it's not. I mean, Morgan Freeman, as always, killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything the man does is wonderful. Even like, he had poorly written one-liners that he delivered so well that they actually ended up being funny because it was Morgan Freeman. And then, you know, the legendary Alan Rickman playing the Sheriff of Nottingham, who is the only reason that movie was a success.
Oh yeah, he was amazing.
I don't care what, like, I don't care if Kevin Costner is in it, even to a lesser degree. I don't care if Morgan Freeman was in it. It could have been a whole bunch of B and D list actors, and then Alan Rickman, and that movie would have been golden anyway.
Yeah.
And Christian Slater he's such a joke. I mean, you got all these English people. I mean, they had actual English people in this movie.
Right.
Don't you feel bad portraying an English person and not even trying?
Dude,
when you sound like, you know, like everyone else is coming out of the Little John, and everybody else is Friar Tuck. They're all coming out of the woods, and they're like, we want your gold and we want your money, and we'll leave you alone. We're here to fight the Sheriff of Nottingham. And then you got Christian Slater like, oh yeah, but not me though. I'm gonna slash you up because I'm from Minnesota, and that's how we do it down there. If you don't watch your ass, I'm gonna hit you with a hockey puck.
See, okay. First of all,
I don't understand that.
They're in the presence of fucking Patrick Stewart. I mean,
right. Oh my god. Oh my! Wait, was he in that?
He was at the very end.
Sean Connery was in that, wasn't he? No, I think you're thinking of
Man in Tights. Okay, I'm back.
I mean, it's literally even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it is objectively worse than.
Yeah.
I mean, you try to like faux Englishman and do it badly. Chucker's like, you better watch your ass. I'm gonna shock you in the fucking face. Like, oh god, I can't.
But so the thing that got me about that was, okay, Kevin Costner made zero attempt at an accent, and he even he came out and said, I'm not fucking doing that. I mean, I'm just not gonna do that. And then Christian Slater, he would be like, sometimes he would have an accent and sometimes he wouldn't. Like
he had like this like he'd be like straight American, and then all of a sudden, like, on one word he would be like Irish and then American. and you'd be like, what was that?
I think he just picked one piece of the dialect, and that's to instead of saying more, he'd be like, more? That's it. That's all he did.
I mean, it's stuff like that that makes me want to jump in a time machine and go back and just punch him right in the nuts. I mean, just don't. If you're gonna half-ass it, don't do it at all. Just don't. I don't understand why you would even take this fucking role, but don't Don't do that. Oh, it's terrible. I appreciate that Kevin Costner didn't attempt an accent, but again, he's surrounded by people who do either have or can fake.
Yeah.
And so everyone's talking about like more work, and then you got Kevin Costner being like, "Hey," you're like, "Different. Someone's different. Someone's
way
different."
Out of place.
I'm like, you are clear. So one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. So that always bugged me. And so we're talking about race, talking about dialects, but I mean also the social issues like the LGBT community. I mean we're gonna go for broke on this one. We're pissing everybody off. But to be honest, like okay, so like in The Walking Dead, for example, okay, you've got two gay couples in The Walking Dead. One's a male couple, one's a female couple. I mean whatever. I mean I got nothing against it. In fact, great, good on them. But
yeah,
think about it this way. One, it's not really doing anything for the story. Two, 99% of the human population is dead. What are the odds you're gonna get two gay couples, which are what? How much percentage of the human population is not straight? Let's just say like 10%, okay? Let's just say 10. Let's give it a high number. What are the odds that two couples are going to land in the same community?
I think that there's a line from Dragon Age. Do you remember? I think it was. I can't remember the elf gladiator from the first Dragon Age game.
I never played all the way through it, so you have to.
Okay, so he was a white-haired I think his name was Fenris. And he was bi, and one of the lines in it that I found was very appropriate as far as both what you're talking about and what his life was, because his life was always he was a mercenary, he used to sell swords since he was a child, so he grew up fighting and killing and everything else. So his decision was being bi, because he said that in his life pleasures were so few and far between that you took your pleasure where you could find it.
Right.
And so I think that would be a similar situation in The Walking Dead, where you're in a stressful situation so long and for so often, and you're so much danger all the time, that it wouldn't really be that strange to seek comfort in any way.
Sure.
And it would probably make you more, I guess open to a same-sex relationship. Now, I think that's great for the story.
Sure.
I mean, ultimately anyone's relationship doesn't really make much difference. Right. Because it's about, the pure survival of the entire group. I would like to think that here's my thing. I mean, I feel like The Walking Dead at this point is almost like beyond reproach, just because of the subject material that it goes through, where it almost rises above, due to the nature of the story, rises above social issues for the most part.
Sure.
Because they've never really made a political statement one way or the other. So I'm almost in the camp of it was just done as a character. It's a character decision, and I'm completely fine with that. I think that's great. The things that would upset me would be decisions made that would be almost glaringly obvious, where you have, we need to check this box,
right? Because
then that makes it makes any decision that character makes is almost wholly worthless.
Yeah,
and it's really almost blatantly influenced by whatever political atmosphere is being tweeted right now. And you can almost use that person as like a political barometer for the rest of the show. And that's distressing. There's a writer for, I can't remember if it's Polygon. But they're a trans person, and fine, that's cool. I don't care. I don't care. That doesn't make any difference to me. What does make a difference to me is whenever they lambast a video game because they didn't specifically have certain groups built within their game.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off.
So we didn't check a box. That's stupid. I mean, if so, like it didn't come up. Okay. I mean, does it matter? Were the characters that were there? Were the characters that were there good? Were they well written? Were they well acted? You know, did their motivations make sense? Did they bring a lot to the story? You know, those are the things that really matter for critique. The fact that, like, you know, what gender they prefer to what particular skin color they were doesn't really make much difference.
No, it really doesn't. I mean,
so I mean, like, I don't understand that kind of mentality, because I can't even remember the game that she was talking about, but it was something like it wasn't even a fighting game. It was like some survival game, and she was like, why isn't there? She said this game's okay except for that there isn't a black trans person. I'm like why? I mean, why specifically? I mean, like, why? Is that what we're doing now? I mean, like, do we need to start like going down like a list and like checking like certain groups off? But then isn't that actually almost as offensive, if not more offensive?
I mean,
just being like, you know, like okay, yeah, we got one. I mean, like their character is cardboard, but you know, yeah, they're there. Okay, I mean, like, what is it like? It's like the Noah's Ark of social issues.
It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't things, because
right.
To be honest, like they're just mad. They're just mad for no reason. Their reason is basically at this point, and we'll call it journalism.
Right.
They just want people to pay attention to them. Period.
And I know that a lot of it's clickbaity, and I get that, but I still, you know, even if it's clickbaity, I still read the words. You know, I try to, you know, deduce the actual things that you're saying in the context of which that you're saying them. So then, like, my concern, not really concern, I guess, but like, I guess my beef would come about where, you know, do we need that? I mean, like, how deep is the need for that? I mean, like, when did that become an issue? I mean, okay, I guess, but I mean, does it fit that character? Does it fit the situation? Does it make any sense? You know, and then let's say like you do have one, let's just say like you do have a trans character.
Right.
Then you have to have that trans character in their way. And that becomes to where you're no longer writing for the story, you're writing for a group.
And you're writing for the social issue.
Right. You're writing for a group that is going to dictate the way that your story plays out and the way that you play out.
Right.
And that's not any way to handle a character. I mean, like, you should be able to decide a character, how they're going to interact, make sure they're, you know, the way their interactions make sense, and then don't break character. And that should the need arise, kill that character. And, you know, in this context, so if we let's just say like let's just say we went for the same example. So we had like a black trans person, and we checked a box, and we wrote that person to act a certain way. Well, that's not what they wanted. Okay, so then we start to evolve that character to start to act like a certain way, and then through the course of events, that character, in order to either retire that character or to update into a different character or transition into a new scene or whatever, that character is killed. So now what? I mean, like, now what message have we sent?
Right. And
the social political message would probably be, you know, we didn't value that person. And
right.
they you know, even in the same context, they've been killing every other character the entire time, like all of Walking Dead. So I don't understand. I guess because I think things through, I just don't understand the mentality. Because to me, whenever you're writing a story, that author has free reign to do whatever they want. That author has free reign to write a story in any context, in any situation, any characters, any character bios that they feel are appropriate, and they should be essentially held in a position to be judged by your participation in their media, not by you participating in their media, ergo you decide what they write.
Right.
It should be they made a choice for a character and you deal with it. And your version of dealing with it is either suck it up and keep reading it because you love the story, or you watch the show or whatever, or you stop watching it, or you stop reading it, or you don't, you know, you turn the movie off, or whatever. I mean, like, you vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like what that person did. I don't really like that story, so I turned it off. I mean, like, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. He's made stories I've put down. I'm like, this story's fucking stupid. I mean, this is a terrible story, and I've sold books. I never sell books, but I have actually sold 2 of Stephen King's books that I fucking hated.
Which ones?
First one was Gerald's Game. I thought it was stupid. I think mostly because like he was so wrapped up in the. I mean, I thought the idea was funny, but then I felt like he got so wrapped up in the idea of the description of the sex acts that it lost a lot of the impetus of the story, and so I just didn't really care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, what was the other one? The Revival. I ended up finishing it, but I sold it, and I was just like, it was okay, but like it was so fucking predictable. By like a third of the way in, and I'm like, oh man, this is like ripped straight from Lovecraft, but like the prose isn't there. I mean, like the thing about sorry, book tangent. The thing about Lovecraft is that like the way his writing style was, his stories might have been predictable in some ways, but like his writing style was so beautiful that you didn't really mind. I mean, King's a good author, but he doesn't have like that almost antiquated level of prose that Lovecraft had,
mm-hmm.
to where you would almost devour the words themselves and the way that he wrote over just the story itself. Whereas with King, he's telling a story. He wants to tell a story, and that's great, and I appreciate that. But then whenever like I call the ending like by like page 90 of a 400-page book, and I'm like, man, this is almost plagiarism. And then I finish it. I'm like, yeah, pretty much plagiarism, and then just want to throw it away. And I got money off of it, but Mama didn't raise no dummy.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to things that have messages, like movies and stories that have messages in them,
mm-hmm.
I feel like the message is lost, and I feel like the overall story is weakened because of it. If you're gonna have a message or an agenda, just make the movie be about that, so I can not watch it or watch it if I choose. Like don't just like kind of tuck it in there as one character learns a valuable lesson about being that kind of understanding of that social group or that that kind of politics. Like
I don't understand like the need, like to me a lot of times, especially given the particular kinds of movie, depending on the kind of movie, I guess, I want to be social issue free. I don't want like, okay, I'm gonna use a perfect example. Actually, I'm gonna use two perfect examples. One, we've already talked about Black Panther. If I watch Black Panther, I don't want to be inundated with what I can easily recognize as being present modern day problems. I mean, because like, look, I mean, like we're already talking about it. There's noticeable, from what I've read, even in the praise of the movie, there's noticeable racism.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight up. It's blatant, actually. I mean, like, and then both how I know that it's definitely there is because both sides of this particular spectrum one has praised the racism and the other one has decried it. So I mean, it's obviously there, and then no one's denying that it's there. But like, it's still, depending on what side you're on, it's okay. I mean, let's be completely clear: racism's never okay, no matter who it's pointed at.
Right.
So I mean, like, if you go into this movie thinking like, like yeah, damn whitey. I mean, like, no, that's not what the Black Panther was ever about.
Right.
So I mean, the fact that that's what you're going here for is already showing that this is not in the original spirit of the movie.
Right.
And then the fact that there are scenes in this movie that are, confirmed to be just glaring racism is difficult to deal with and to stand, especially whenever like, you love the universe, you love the character, and be like, oh man, that's just like, that's hard though. I mean, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I like this movie.
I mean, you didn't see that shit in where did he originally pop up? No, it was Civil War, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, was it Civil War or was it,
it was
Captain America?
It was Captain America Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he popped up there and there wasn't any overarching fucking racism things in there. It was just the story.
There were no social commentaries beyond that. It was almost like a retelling of the Manchurian Candidate. But I mean, here's the thing though, that was still a good fucking story.
Right.
And and like they told a good story, and and it came to a head, and it was very well acted. Everything about it was great. Black Panther was fucking amazing. And then they come out with Black Panther, and it's so and it's so negative to a particular group. And I'm like, but why though? I mean, I don't understand. I truly don't understand. And that we're supposed to just kind of be like, that was a great movie. But was it? I mean, like, that was mean. It was there's a lot of it that I just felt like was really mean spirited. And I feel like a lot of the lead up to it's just been really mean spirited.
I kind of really want to see the movie. I really do, because
I do. I want to see it. I mean, and I God damn it, I'm probably gonna buy it because I bought every other Marvel movie. And again, I love Black Panther, so I mean, like, I really feel like I really want to buy it and I want to support the character. But I mean, like, the cast interviews, the little prop pieces that they've done leading up to the movie were all more or less of the same vein of, this was a movie about Black Power and it had nothing to do with Black Panther.
Right.
And I'm like, that is wholly wrong on multiple levels, let alone just like enjoying the particular material of the Black Panther and the fact that he should be able to have a good fucking movie and a good action movie all by himself.
Right.
Like that shouldn't be a thing. I mean, it shouldn't be like, hey, the only reason we made this movie is for political issues. Like, no, it should be because this was a great fucking movie and Black Panther is an excellent character who very much should have had his own movie. Yeah. I don't understand that. And the other movie that I can give as a perfect example is The Last Jedi. I mean, The Last Jedi was like, it wore its political opinions on its sleeves.
Absolutely.
It was so clear, and it was another one of those. I didn't come here for this.
Right.
I didn't come here to be inundated with this social miasma. I was here to enjoy, a Star Wars story. But not only was it not a very good Star Wars story, but it was also just layers upon layers of just, political correctness and shoving political opinion in your face. And is this what we've come to now? I mean, like, we can't just make a movie anymore. Can't just be like a cool fucking story. Because now you can't even make like a timepiece anymore without people getting pissed off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand.
I mean, you make a fucking movie like that, and then you polarize people, or people polarize themselves. Whatever you want to take from it.
The movie is made because of the polarization.
Yeah.
And all that does is it perpetuates the problem.
Absolutely.
I mean, like realistically, like, it's just like these damn mass shooters. I mean, like, so you have a mass shooting and it's a tragedy. But then, like, rather than immortalizing victims, you put the killer's name and face and body count score everywhere. So now you've given someone something to beat.
Right.
Like it's a fucking game, and it blows me away that we keep doing this. And it's the same thing with movies like this, where we have a clear political issue. I mean, like, it's a political issue. And here's the thing. It's only a political issue for a very small group of people. But it's a political issue nonetheless. So we're going to take a huge movie like, let's say, Star Wars. We're going to take a huge movie like Star Wars, and we're going to run our political issue through the whole thing. And we're going to just destroy the spirit of this movie and the spirit of this franchise for this political gain. Did we win? Who won? Who won in this? I mean, like, who sat back and went, job well done?
Yeah, okay. Let me put on my tinfoil hat here, since we're going down this rabbit hole. Do you think this is being done on purpose? Like, okay, so we as society right now are pretty damn polarized. I think we're more polarized now than we've been in a long time. Probably in the last 15 years. Give or take. And, like, we're like, maybe just basically what I see online. I mean, I don't talk to a whole lot of people, but I see online just the flaming back and forth. And it wasn't this bad 10 years ago. To me, it wasn't this bad. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know, but it seemed to me like it wasn't this bad. Now, you get movies and talk shows and TV shows and all this stuff that's just coming out. And I get it. You want to be controversial so that you can get people to be interested in your stuff. But that being said, it's helping. It's pushing forward the destabilization of our society. I mean, and I hate to say it, but I mean the lesser educated people are easily manipulated, and them being manipulated, it's basically just putting a little whisper in their ear. Hey, hate people that are different than you, or hey, there's people out there that are different than you. Deal with it. You know, either or.
Right.
Either or. And it just pisses them off and gets them riled up and gets them online and tweeting and fucking saying everything they have to say about how angry they are that they're being told to think differently than what they already think. So, do you think maybe that it's being done on purpose?
Actually, I don't. I actually think it's been done on accident.
Really?
And the reason why is because, so, 15 years ago, realistically, 15 years ago, we are absolutely no different than we are right now. If anything, actually, realistically, things have actually gotten better. The only difference is that things have gotten louder, and
Sure.
certain groups have gotten focal points. And 15 years ago, we didn't have shit like Reddit. We didn't have, 4chan. We didn't have, all these places for people to go out there and actually like have their opinion. We didn't have YouTube where people could, have these tirades where they can, have their political opinions put out and have people running amok with them. We also didn't have the idea where you could have a politically supercharged movie, and that. So now what you have is oh, thanks, Sang. So now you have, let's just say, like, you have a group, like, let's just say, I'm going to pick on them because I'm going to go on the other side. Let's say we have like Fox News, and they have decided that they're going to pick. They've picked a side. They picked, conservative. But they decide that basically anything Dem is bad, and then a lot of times that ends up picking a particular in a lot of ways from the elections and polls and the consensus that things have that shown basically to pick a racial side as well. So what ended up happening is that we have the media starts to just try to clickbait, and then these bigger, louder, meaner, nastier pieces, and like they take one small issue that isn't really an issue and they conflate it to like this Hindenburg event, where it's not really a thing. It's nothing. Nothing has really happened. But the way the media portrays it, there were people, walking through the middle of Harlem with a flamethrower, and so you end up conflating a small problem to a huge problem that doesn't even exist. And then now, what ended up happening is that you see people voting sensibly up to a point, but now after years and years and years and years of the same sensationalist media, you got to a president who is the anathema to sensational. Well, he is sensational media. He is the embodiment of sensational media, but he is also the antithesis of everything that sensational media is interested in, because he is unpredictable and everything he does is an actual issue.
Right.
So, and he's calling attention to the problems that media has. Disclaimer, I don't like Trump. So, but I mean, I just want to point out that this is the reason why he's sitting in the Oval Office, because we have gotten to a point where there are people that are the actual voting population that had nothing to do, that weren't hurting anybody, that weren't upsetting anybody, that were just trying to live their lives. And media over the course of years has told every group in America that those people, because they're picking sides, that those people are bad. And everything those people do are bad. The cops are out to get you. The white man is actually out to put you down. I mean, like they chose to run these kind of stories, and they've, the other groups of people have chosen to believe this, and they've chosen to run with this. And now you see the majority group of people to see a president that is running against that kind of thing. I mean, like I cannot stress it enough. He is the embodiment of sensationalist media.
Yeah.
I mean, he is practically a walking, talking entire wing of Fox News. But I mean, he also is anti-media, which is just weird, but
Yeah.
okay. And so this is the first time in American history where an angry vote has turned into an actual election, because you had a majority of people who were pissed off at that what they were being told is that their way of life is wrong, and they've been being told for years that their way of life is wrong with nothing really ever actually happening. Nothing has really changed. And then, so over the course of years, they've essentially poisoned the well to the point where it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. They saw somebody where they can say "fuck you" to everybody who told them that their way of life was wrong, because this person is representing it. So it says he is representing everything that they are. And so everyone says, well, if you vote for him, you believe in this, this, and this. And you're like, well, you know what? I am a white evangelical American, and I didn't hurt anybody up to this point. But everything that you guys say about me in the media, you always tell me that I'm a hick. You always tell me I'm ignorant. You always tell me I'm an asshole. You always tell me I'm fucking racist, and I'm none of those things. But you know what? This guy fucking is. Have fun with that. And then you had a huge population of the country do that. Yeah. Because, they're being targeted out. Right. And it's the huge backlash of over the course of time racism.
The few people that actually did come out and say stuff like that, yeah, that's pretty much how it went. But most of them just went silent and voted silently because they were tired of getting trashed about what they thought.
Right. Because here's the thing, that there's a video. I mean, I encourage everyone to go watch it on YouTube. I can't remember the guy's name. Oh no, I don't think that. I mean, I don't know. I know that a lot of them. People who voted for Trump don't view Trump as being like a good pick. I think that a lot of them voted because he wasn't Hillary, and that's never a good position. That's never a politically good position to be in. If you are not even choosing the lesser of two evils, you're just choosing one that isn't the one that's basically telling you that you're evil. That's not good, because the one person that if your choice is between Satan and Lucifer, and Satan's telling you that you're a shitty person, so you vote for Lucifer, did you really win?
Nobody.
I mean, did anyone win? I mean, nobody won the election. I mean, the only person who won the election was sitting about 5,000 miles in Moscow. I mean, that's the only person who won in this election. But, we got to a point politically in America where, you can't actually have discourse with anyone. You can't politically speak to somebody without that person just shutting down and you don't listen to facts anymore. You just get told that you're stupid or you're a hick or you're ignorant or whatever.
You got the two extremes. You've got the people that are tired of talking about it and they shut the hell up, and you got people that are literally screaming and yelling and shoving their views and their opinions down your fucking throat. And you're just like, I can't debate with that. I can't debate with blatant obnoxiousness.
There's no debating it, because they're not interested, because a debate is implied that there will be 2 points of view that will be able to be shared equally. Sure. And that at some point there's a possibility that someone might learn a thing or two. And there's no interest in learning. There's no interest in learning, there's no interest in sharing a point of view.
Pop the earplugs in and start talking. I mean, that's all it is.
And whenever you get to a certain point, anytime I speak politically with somebody, and I enjoy talking politics with people. I do, even politics with people that disagree with me, which is most people. I actually enjoy it because I enjoy the rhetoric. I enjoy the debate. I enjoy the sharing of opinions, because a lot of times, if someone thinks different than me politically and they have a valid point, I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm not gonna be like, no, you're wrong because you're just too liberal. I hate that. I mean, as soon as you start throwing oh, you're a liberal, oh, you're a Democrat. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, whenever one of my friends said, somebody asked him how you gonna vote, are you Republican or you Democrat? He goes, I'm an American. And I'm like, perfect. That's a great answer. That is a great answer, because that means I'm gonna vote for whoever's the best. Yeah. I mean, and that means I don't care about party. I mean, and party politics has always been the worst thing that's ever happened to this nation to this day. And I think that that's one of the things that we can also glean from our Hollywood debacles, is that the majority of people in that control the Hollywood sphere are Democrat, and they have decided to start really leaning very heavily on the movie making business. Sure. And it's distressing, because I don't want that. I mean, and I'm not even saying that being Democrat's wrong. I'm just saying that whenever you use an escapism outlet to levy your political opinion, I mean, I feel like that's ethically incorrect. But I mean, at the same time, you also as a consumer have the ability to make the decision that you don't want to consume that media, which is what I did Black Panther for now, because like I said, I'm going to buy the damn thing anyway. But fuck. I really want to watch it because I love the Black Panther. Fuck, I really don't. I don't want to buy the. I don't want to give him money. I don't. But I want to watch the fucking movie. God damn it.
I'll get it for you, Frank.
Oh, you can buy it for me. You're the worst.
Hey, Pants, how you doing, man? Thanks for dropping by. Squabbly.
What is that?
What? Oh, look at we got a lot of people dropping by. Hey, everybody, thanks for dropping by.
It's a raid.
It's a raid. All right, we've never had one of these.
Are we gonna go to? Well, we did, but you weren't here.
Oh.
Are you gonna go to Gruel? You're so old. I'm so sorry.
I can't explain how much this means to me.
Does it mean a lot? Does it mean a lot to you? Tell me how it means to you. Show me your face. Show me what it means to you. You're so terrible. You're a horrible human being.
I'll show you my follower face if you guys follow. Hit the follow button.
No,
It goes,
don't do it. Don't. Why? Why is that still our thing?
Because you haven't given me anything better yet.
I love the wink wink. Is it a wink or is it a blink? Because I don't think he actually has the ability to blink.
Sang, thanks for subscribing, dude. That was back when I didn't have all this.
Yeah, that took you like 6 months to grow.
Shut up, Frank. Oh, dude. GTA crew, thanks.
Look at him, he's missing up.
Yeah, man.
Oh, woo! Oh, keep him coming. What were we talking about? We were talking about.
I think we beat that dead horse with the.
Wow, is that what you call my rants now? Beating the dead horse?
No, we talked about 30 minutes about how politics are now in the media, and newsflash, you're absolutely right.
Well, I spent a lot of time in my life being completely right.
Oh,
we're talking about party politics and Black Panther. Right. Black Panther. I don't get Black Panther. I don't get the decisions that were made in Black Panther to make that a thing. Also, I don't understand how it could have gotten past the censors of being, okay, that's fine. That's a great decision. You know what I mean? Because like I don't want to. I'm torn between like spoilers and the fact that like I haven't seen it either. But I mean, like we haven't seen it, but like I've read quite a bit about it, and the deciding factor about like what was actually true in it and what was there was both sides that both hated and loved a thing about it. So if one group hated a thing about it and one group loved the exact same thing about it, it obviously happened. And thank you everybody for subscribing.
Thanks,
oh my god,
everybody. You guys are awesome, man. Dude,
it's so many.
Making me look at my ugly mug with my
I wish you guys
face.
were making me see that.
Frank's read all comics ever. I mean, that's all he ever does.
I have, and I really liked I loved the Black Panther comic prior. Well, I mean, Ice, you're not entirely wrong. I mean, like that was my big problem with it. With the movie is that that was one of the things that was being highly praised about Black Panther was that it was all about Black Power this and Black Power that, and I'm kind of like, did we need to do that? I mean, the Black Panther by himself was an excellent character, had fantastic stories, good fight scenes, good action, good writing. Wakanda was a wonderful place, but I mean, did we need to go super socio-political to make him have his own movie? Because it felt not only out of place, but it felt like it just wasn't in keeping with what was most of the rest of the Marvel universe, I guess.
Right. It, like we've been saying before you guys probably showed up, it didn't help the story. It was really just a statement, and it honestly probably took away from the story more so than anything. That's what everybody's saying. Like we said, we haven't seen the movie. We're going based on the backlash it's gotten, both for and against. So it makes us concerned about actually watching the movie. But Still probably gonna watch it, just probably not, in the theater. Was it?
It was a bit contrived. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the particular scene that I have in mind that has been, both praised and decried. I would be part of the decried group. Is Martin Freeman's in it, Bilbo, and I guess like he's in the same room as one of the other Wakandan warlords and T'Challa, and they're trying to talk about what to do as far as like T'Challa getting back to Wakanda and whatever. And so Martin Freeman says, "I have an idea," and then in the process of him saying, "I have an idea," the entire room starts doing like this gorilla grunt howl at him until he stops talking. And then the warlord says, "You're not allowed to speak because you're white." And I'm like, that's rough. That's rough. I mean, like, and the only way that, like, on the flip side that you could say anything like that on the flip side is say, like, you can't say anything because you're black, is if you were a full-on Confederate flag waving. I mean, like, you have to be literally the captain of the Amistad, and then you could say something like that because in the end you are literally Satan.
Which, yeah, if you were to do something like that, it's basically career suicide. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah, the only person who's made a movie where they were like literally one of the most racist pieces of garbage on the planet are, well, two people. One is Ralph Fiennes from Schindler's List because he was just fucking incredible in that movie,
right.
And Edward Norton. What the hell is that movie called?
American History X.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, he was a horrible human being, and he managed to skate away with his career more or less intact. He's still a dick, but
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, he went in there knowing what he was doing as Derek Vineyard, and I mean, there was the whole thing was a political statement. It was a social issue statement, and it wasn't even really about. It was about blacks and whites in terms of racism there, but the moral of the story was, don't hate. I mean, hate is baggage. Hate takes too much of your life. It just consumes you.
I wouldn't mind going on your show. I think it would be fun. I don't even know what your show is, but I'll go. I can talk about anything at length because I'm a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, Frank more so than me. I'm a better host than I am a color commentator. But
let's see.
We'd be happy to go on the show.
I'm going to go sayings first. There are two parts of Hollywood, right? There's the money, there's the artist. The artists are about making the political statement and shaping the social narrative. The money doesn't care what the movie is about as long as the ticket sales are up. Unfortunately, this is the perfect environment these days to make politically motivated movies. That is absolutely 100% true. And it's unfortunate that you can take a character. I mean, like, it'd be one thing if you made like a movie that was standalone and wasn't part of a broader spectrum, like the Marvel Cinematic Universes for the Black Panther, and the fact that Black Panther, gets his own movie after being a side character in Civil War, and then this is what you choose to do with it. And this is the boat that you decided to sail in on, was this blatantly as Pants pointed out, contrived picture book of racism. And it's difficult for me to be like, yeah, they made a great decision, because I mean, politically maybe, but I mean, as far as like, enjoying the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I really don't know. I really don't think so. And it also doesn't make any sense, because I mean, like, if he's really so down on like, having the opinions of white folk in his presence, then wouldn't he just hate the shit out of Captain America, who's like literally the embodiment of like basically Wonder Bread?
That I agree with. I mean, and also when you think about the grand scheme of things, especially in the fucking in the Marvel universe, that's such small potatoes. I mean, Empire Strikes Ass. Love it.
You're damn right it does.
It's just so small potatoes. You got like world-ending threats like every year. So, let's talk about racism. No, let's talk about the fucking giant monster that's going to take over the world. Like,
yeah, how about, like, it's like, there's plenty of time to talk about like actual issues. I mean, like, like a lot of times, Thomas Sowell is a modern philosopher, is written a plethora of books that basically describe that the social and institutional racism is effectively over. It doesn't exist anymore. And he was educated in and grew up in Harlem, and he was, he's very well spoken. He's got just a boatload of data, and his books are extremely interesting. I've only listened to little snippets of it because, I mean, shit's kind of boring. Let's be real. I mean, once you start getting I enjoy philosophy books, but like once you start getting into like statistics, I started getting kind of tired.
Yeah, sure, I get it. I mean,
there's a Rampage movie and see that they practically butchered the actual lore-wise stuff, how the monsters came to be. Yeah, well, that sounds about right. Marvel in general has been co-opted to the point that Marvel can't make a comic or such without being political. That is unfortunately true. I think Disney is starting to kind of like be like a sleeping giant that's waking up politically, and I'm disappointed in that, because I really feel that like Disney up to this point has pretty much held its head out of the mire, with as far politically, because it hasn't really picked a side. It's made decisions for making a good movie, and it's made decisions for making like the next princess or whatever, and these are both decisions that can be lauded both in financially, because a princess movie is always going to make a shitload of money, and as far as the not really adding to the quagmire, because all Disney movies for the most part have always had like have had a positive spin in one way or another, and the fact that they're starting to get into this, they're tiptoeing. Well, actually, look, if Disney had like a lot of control over Black Panther, it wasn't really a tiptoe. It was like a full on like flat foot into the bullshit. Because I mean, like, it's just, I don't understand why we would do that. It's because being polarized and overly opinionated is popular culture. I mean, I guess that is true. I guess I fall right into that because I'm highly opinionated. I've always been highly opinionated, but at the same time, I feel like I actually have some sense, and I actually think things through. And I think that a lot of people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like buzzword, rage, and they start throwing chairs and shit like that, and they're ready to fight anybody, and I don't get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no substance in those arguments. It's just yelling, and when you get overly emotional, when you start throwing just like fake news or some shit, like I don't know, like it's not a conversation anymore. It's just, okay, I'm done, peace. Oh, I can't do this.
Dragon, you're 100% right. Free society does breed opinions, and many times the more free and the more secure a society is, the stronger the opinions can be because they have the freedom to do so. But the only problem with that is that a lot of times your people with very strong opinions also need to have the education or background to be able to make those opinions actually mean something.
Yeah.
Because anybody can have an opinion, but if your opinion is outlandish and is nonsensical and isn't supported by anything, then you have an opinion with no substance.
Yeah, and what Dragon Daughter is saying, it makes a lot of sense. Be more open-minded. I mean, obviously,
right?
You can't just you can, and that's part of the problem. But you gotta be willing to change your mind, like at any given time. Like somebody has to convince you, or be able to convince you that maybe what you're thinking isn't entirely right, because. I mean, you can support your argument. Say something like, "I hate the color blue." Well, why? I just don't like it.
That's almost like a worthless opinion.
Okay.
I mean, you can have it.
Moving on.
It's like it's like say I hate the color blue. So okay, you fine, you hate the color blue, but why? Well, I just do. Okay, I'm not gonna continue to ask you. I'm gonna ask you. I'm not gonna try to change your mind. I might love the color blue. You hate it. Okay. I mean, but why? Because we have a friend that does the same thing. There's the Game of Thrones is out there, and I'm like, have you watched Game of Thrones? No, I hate Game of Thrones. oh, I mean, like, what about it did you not like? I mean, like, it kind of strikes me as something that you'd probably really enjoy. And he's like, well, I've never seen it, but, you know, it's just, you know, I just know that I wouldn't like it. I'm like, but why though? You know, I mean, like, you're entitled to your opinion that you think that you would not like it. I mean, you could do that. That's fine. But I am curious as to why. Well, I just know that I wouldn't because everybody else likes it. Your reasoning is that nobody else likes it, or that everybody else likes it. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like it. Okay. I mean, how can you argue with that? I mean, like, that makes no sense.
That's the same kind of argument you would have with like trying to feed your children. Hey, eat your peas. I don't like peas. If
Yeah,
you've
you
never
need-
had peas before, can you just try like
Yeah.
3 of them, and maybe like if you don't like them, then we'll just scrape the plate? No, I'm not gonna do that. Peace.
Yeah. Dragonar says we have socially decided that this is bad. Republican try it wishy-washy and all that. It is frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating whenever you have an opinion, and you can have that opinion, but if that opinion can be proven to be, you know, in not so much invalidated, but it can be proven to be wrong or infactual at best, you should at least be open-minded enough to concede the ground whenever it's proven to you, and can be proven to you empirically, that opinion that you are holding is incorrect. Like, let's just take for example the inauguration thing. So let's just say, you know, so Trump digs his heels in, you know, well, I had 1 million people there. You know, I mean, you didn't, because there's no way 1 million people could fit there. I mean, realistically, there's no way 1 million people fit there. And then, you know, that you can be empirically proven, you should be like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't 1 million. I mean, but there are people out there who have an opinion that can be easily proven incorrect, and then they will double down, and then that they become immovable.
Right.
And that's not how you have discourse. That's not how you learn. That's not how you grow, both politically and personally. I mean, if you decide that your shit is 100% factual, irregardless of proof, I mean, you might as well stop being human.
Right.
I mean, you're pretty much just a poster board.
Yeah, all of your opinions are written in pen.
Being that I'm a furry, the furry fandom had slowly fallen to the same way, but we are fighting it back, and the SJWs are starting to leave the furry fandom ever so slowly. This comes to show that if your fandom or product company or whatever has the ability to push back against authoritarian folks like the extreme left, then they will survive due to their endeavors. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, like, people are actually able to effect a change in their particular fandom, regardless of what it is, for what they feel is correct. Now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, SJWs in general, I'm very strongly, actually not even in general, SJW is inherently incorrect. But so I feel like that anyone who identifies as an SJW needs to be educated in some way that they can actually affect change in a useful way. I'm a furry myself. Good. Look at all the furries. It's like, oh my god, my family. Do you believe I'm a dragon wolf? I mean, why the fuck not, dude?
Be
Lupercal.
whatever you want to be.
I don't even answer cherry folds in the bunch. That's also a good question. Here's the thing: nobody does. Not maybe like so. Like I lived in Southern Louisiana forever, and if you went by the news, Southern Louisiana should have basically been like old 50s segregation. I mean, like, it should have been like, this is the whitest drinking fountain, this is the blackest drinking fountain. But man, down the South, everybody was so good to each other. Everyone was so nice to me. I mean, everyone was so nice to each other. I mean, like, our kids were playing together and everything. I mean, it's so incredibly conflated to this group of people has a problem. So then those group of people end up on TV, and then these group of people think that it's a problem. I mean, there isn't really a problem. I mean, the entire time I was in Louisiana, I never once had a problem.
I mean, why would you? Like I said,
They're just people.
They're just people, and people have their opinions, and most people have their opinions behind closed doors. Few people that get on camera and on the news and on TV that get to spout out their opinions, they don't speak for everybody. In fact, they may not even speak for themselves. They're just trying to get their 15 minutes, So I don't know. I really don't know. I think that it's just adding fuel to the fire that isn't really even there. It's just, I want to be important. I want attention.
Night, Twisty.
Yeah, thanks for dropping by.
See, Pat says, humans are naturally skeptical creatures. This is not a bad thing. It is fantastic, but that inherently breeds doubt. We also tend to create patterns to better understand our world. When we recognize a pattern, such as this type of voter stands for the ideologies of the party, we naturally create a connection between individuals and the rhetoric of what we read, hear, or see. The unfortunate side effect of this drama sells. So the press and media creates drama. Right. And that is part of the... we were talking about earlier, where you have your media over the course of years have decided to pick sides, and up to a point, I think it was probably in the 80s it really started kind of like flipping around to being more political. It was just news. So then you end up with news outlets that are taking a small thing and making it huge, and they're picking sides. Louisiana, hey, nice, good. I was in Lafayette for years. It was awesome. That's when I saw the list of classes for certain social degrees, effectively breeding SJWs that are pissed off about the indentured servitude, and many are not even aware they're a part of it. The gender studies are one of the major social classes that's been coming out. Social classes like Berkeley, UCLA, and University of Toronto both have. And it's absolutely madness. Just the idea of that there is actually professors that have this insane notion that they can get in front of a group of people and essentially indoctrinate them to hate a particular group, and that it's perfectly fine, and that there are, an unlimited number of genders. And that anyone who tells you differently is obviously a racist and fascist and should be fought. I'm like, this is insane. If you ever get a chance to, or look up Ronaldo Walcott, he's an SJW, or he's a gender studies professor at I think at the I can't remember what the hell it's called, but he's fucking hysterical to listen to, because the shit that comes out of his mouth is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the sanity for that. I mean, like, you keep on linking me videos to freaking Alex Jones, and I just want to kill myself, so...
Well, yeah, but that's because I know that it's going to piss you off, because Alex Jones is the other side of that, where he is completely fucking insane. And he is a train wreck in human form. Everything about Alex Jones is just absolute comedy gold. Every time the man fucking opens his mouth, I literally burst into tears laughing. It is so funny. I have never seen a clip or a show of his. Look, I periodically watch the show. I have zero to do or agree politically with Alex Jones, but the man is a fucking hurricane of errors, and it is amazing to watch.
If you were to swap out the name of his network, the InfoWars thing, with, I don't know, like a logo for Comedy Central, I'd probably laugh my ass off too. But because he's like trying to be serious, it's more sad than anything. In fact, it makes me lose faith in humanity.
Yeah, it's rough. It was check out Ronaldo. I mean, it's pretty fucking funny. I laugh incredibly hard. Be down there gonna show.
Thanks for dropping by, Dragon Daughter.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Who knows? Send us a message. We'll find out. We'll find out what we can do.
Yeah,
see if we can get the chitty chat. You can listen to our terribly old people opinion. Back in my day, there were no problems like this. I mean, we just threw canes at each other, and it was fine.
So, Frank, let's talk about Deadpool.
Especially the cowards meme saying he is going to chase the cowards. Goddamn, Alex Jones is wonderful. I mean, is there a point where Alex Jones has become such a tragedy that he becomes a national treasure?
No, I refuse.
Okay. It's not just sad, it's scary. Alex Jones has millions of viewers that actually believe him. I can't blame the guy for capitalizing on stupidity. I'm just happy YouTube neutered him. But yeah, here's the thing, though. He genuinely believes that. He genuinely believes the shit that he spews, and that's what's terrifying. One of my bosses in my last job, he was an Alex Jones guy, and he bought in full sale. I mean, everything. I mean, Alex Jones said it. I mean, it happened. But the gay frogs thing. I mean, he was like, can you believe that they're turning frogs gay? And I'm like, do you know how amphibians work? Do you know that if there's one frog and there's a whole bunch of males and there's one female, some of the males will become female? Because that's what amphibians do to survive. I learned that in 4th grade science class. It blew my mind too.
I
What do you mean by believe game theory? I guess I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
What is? Do you know what a game theory is, Neil?
No,
I'm gonna Google it.
Look it up.
I'm Googling it. You talk to me about the Deadpool movie that I'm probably not gonna watch.
You're not gonna watch it?
I don't know. I'm torn.
You saw the first one, right?
Yeah,
And
I
you
know.
liked
It's a
it.
lot like the Deadpool comics. I can only handle like 1 or 2. You know?
Well, I mean, so anytime you get wrapped up in any kind of Deadpool, you just have to know going into it that there's no real danger for Deadpool ever.
Well, no. I mean, I get that, but I mean, like, you know, it's just like with the comics. You know, I read the comic and I'm reading Deadpool, and I know he's gonna be zany, and he's gonna be weird, and he's gonna be bizarre, and I know he's gonna do some outlandish shit. But I mean, there is a point where I'm like, this is actually boring.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't. There's no story. There's no actual story in Deadpool. It's just him doing a bunch of different things, and I get tired of it. You know, I mean, because
Okay.
it gets dumb.
Very probability.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's not that weird. Possibly that the Wario in the Mario games is taller than Mario, and that Sonic is slow, and that Zootopia movie is about drugs instead of racial stereotypes. I thought it was about making some really awesome hentai. Dude, it's easy to be doing Alex Jones impression. All you guys do is just take something absolutely outlandish and just scream at the top of your lungs.
Ah!
And you gotta follow up with a bunch of like really, really colorful, visceral expressions like "Mark bleeds red American blood." Oh god, I can't even stand him. But it's so fucking funny. Neil, help me. I have an addiction.
You got a problem.
I got a problem
I
trying
try
to
to
learn things, and it's so dumb.
I try to
feel like
steer you away from these things, but you just keep
I
on
can't help it. I
linking me
can't help
articles and videos of shit that is just. It's like
I
you're
shouldn't
giving them
Nobody
clicks,
should
Frank.
read. Nobody should read this stuff, but I do.
You
I
read
can't help
okay.
it.
You read the Roots all the time.
I do. I read the root, and all it is literally just like it's a nonstop smorgasbord of everything that's fit to piss you off. Talking about real game theory that revolutionized statistics, not the conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, bright side is that by asking, I got both answers.
There you go. Yeah.
Also, I think it was an amazing Alex Jones impression. Well, that's good. Everyone should have a talent.
We'll have to see it sometime for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see you scream nonsensical things and beat the shit out of your desk and sweat
Are
like a
you?
whore in church.
Is your skin almost kind of red a little bit?
You look like Satan. Satan and a Rolex.
All right, so Deadpool. All right, so the movie trailer I thought was pretty underwhelming. Unfortunately, I didn't know that they were gonna make Cable the villain.
Yeah, but I mean, he kind of was in the comic.
Was he?
Cable fucking hates Deadpool.
Well, he hates okay. So I never read the comic. I have a couple of them. I still need to read them, but.
His words are so threatening.
Look, it's just I don't got time for that shit. So, but I played the Deadpool game, and it gave me a good summary of how Deadpool and Cable interact with each other. And Cable's doing what he thinks is good for the future, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And in the game, he partners up with Deadpool. He's like, all right, let's do this.
In the comics, he partners up with Deadpool, too.
Yeah, let's get this done, and Deadpool just fucks off and does whatever he wants, and Cable just does it all himself.
Well, yeah, and in a lot of the comics, I mean, he uses Deadpool to hilarious effect in many ways, including but not limited to literally blowing him to pieces on an average, just because he knows nothing's going to happen to him, but he also doesn't mind if it does. I mean, I imagine that at one point, the real hilarious like topsy-turvy moment for a Deadpool comic would be if Cable does actually put Deadpool in danger, and then he actually dies, and Cable would just stand there and be like, "I did it. I did it. I'm free. I don't have to deal with him anymore."
We were talking earlier about how powerful Deadpool actually is.
And I hate saying that out loud because I dislike him intensely as a character.
Well, I mean, he's stupid. If you can go outside of the bounds of the universe, you're more than a god. You're a visitor at that point.
Right. I mean, you know, I'm among them, but I'm not one of them.
It's basically like he's playing an MMO, and he could just turn it off at any time, make a comment, turn it back on, and log back in.
Yeah, he does. I mean, like, he could basically go and Google his own answer because, I mean, you know, he's losing in a comic or whatever. He pokes his head out and be like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" And then, like, you know, he gets an answer magically, and then goes, "Oh, right," and then just comes back in.
Yeah, he could literally like come out of the comic, flip a couple pages forward. Okay, I'm supposed to be there. Wow, plot device.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably be the easiest character to write for. Because if you write yourself into a corner, do something bonkers bananas, have him leave the entire frame, and then go to the next frame.
Yeah, and they have done that.
You answered your own question, so like, you know, as a person who's like more, I guess I'm like more into more serious stories and things. I just kind of I don't wholly appreciate Deadpool as a character. Like I like stories to not so much make sense, like, because I don't mind it. I don't mind a goofy story,
sure.
But I don't like a story that doesn't follow any level of cohesion and doesn't actually have any real substance. And
it's not a story at that point.
No Deadpool comic has ever had any actual substance. I mean, like, he's done stuff, but nothing ever really happened.
I will say that, like, okay, so the Deadpool movie, I was concerned. I mean, I was a little concerned because I didn't want him to just become a collection of memes.
Well, that's what he is.
But he's not, though. You want a collection of memes? Watch the second Joe Dirt.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Deadpool is also in love with death. True, so is Thanos. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Well, no, we talked about that before we started the show.
Yeah, we did.
Right, yeah. I will not get into it because you were trying to talk, and that's rude.
Oh, go ahead. No, I want you to talk about it.
I was just going to say, like, you know...
I just don't know if we want to give the spoilers away.
Oh, yeah, good point, good point. You know what, never mind. Never mind. It will be spoilers, and that's not fair.
So... Well, we'll refrain from that.
All right, Pants, thanks for coming by. It was great having you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for dropping by.
Later. We'll come by and do whatever. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always have opinions about everything all the time. Because we're old and crotchety and grumpy.
Damn kids on my lawn.
We should have been grumpy gentlemen, because all we do is bitch about stuff.
Grumpy old man. I think it's copyrighted, Frank.
Grumpy old men.
Walter Matthau.
Oh, Jack Lemmon. So good. I love that movie.
It was a good movie. They
were in so many. Well, it was Walter Matthau. I was thinking of the one where their presidents is Jack Lemmon and God help me, can't remember his name. Fuck. That makes me feel bad. He played Maverick.
Tom Cruise.
Not that one. You guys see the Postal games do good? Like Paperboy, or like the one where you run around and shoot the shit out of people because they never did good to begin with?
Postal game.
A very niche audience, and they always look terrible and they functioned even worse. I mean, unless they're gonna make a new one, which is surprising, given the, like we were talking, politically before. This would be like the polar opposite of the being politically correct and making a game glorifying mass killings as its main impetus of the story. I mean, those games really never did very well.
So
none of the Postal games did well.
Basically, just a fetished Duke Nukem. Sounds like. I mean, I never.
Right. I mean, did you ever see Hatred?
No.
So that game had the possibility of being a really good social commentary, while also being a functional isometric shooter, but it failed to do anything well. So like what it pretty much ended up doing is, what it could have done is it could have been told from an ironic point of view. And what it is it's a top-down isometric shooter. So like think Diablo, but with machine guns and shotguns and shit.
Right.
But literally all you do is run around. You just shoot people that are trying to hide, and you've got like executions where like you put a shotgun in a woman who's crying his mouth, and you just blow her to pieces and whatever. But that is it. I mean, that's the game. I mean, you run around, you shoot people who are crying and trying to get away from you, or hiding in a building, and then you go and you set the building on fire, and that's the game.
So you're a terrorist.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally just a mass shooter, and the game, like I said, the game had the opportunity to go the step further and actually be told from a place of irony, and actually be like a pretty good take on the social commentary, and could have done it in a way that made it unobvious, but that would be in a way that you could actually appreciate without being overtly aware that it was being a social commentary, by like making it so that it's fucking way harder than you think to just waste all these people, or the potential backlash from what he's actually doing. And it was disappointing, and that the way that the game was even marketed was literally even worse. And it was almost identical in spirit to Postal, and Postal also didn't do well. Hatred did even worse. Hatred got banned from, I know it's banned from Twitch. I'm pretty sure it got banned from Steam. So I mean, it's just universally, it was just lauded as being just an absolute shit show.
Right.
Actually, the game Postal 2 was able to have DLC up to 2015. Yeah, but it still didn't do well. Still didn't do well. Still didn't look well. Still didn't function well. It's cool that it had DLC up in 2015 if people were still buying it. I mean, vote with your wallet. If you like it, you like it. It still didn't. I mean, commercially, it didn't do very well. Personally, I mean, like I don't dislike games like that. I just think that after a while they get kind of dull, which is weird coming from me, because I'm pretty much really like up to my eyeballs and just sort of like want destruction and murder. But after a while, I do get kind of bored with someone else's vision of what is extreme.
I'll show you how to do it.
Well, I mean, like whenever like you have a game like Postal where you're trying to be violent and gratuitous and excessive and angry and just really kind of take on the world and burn people alive, a lot of people don't really have the imagination or creativity to really go beyond that. And so like to some people, the worst thing that you could do to them is shoot them.
Right.
And to someone like me who has that level of like gruesome creativity, I'm like, I mean, it's okay.
For starters.
I mean, what else did you do to him? And if that's like literally the worst thing that gets, I'm just kind of nah. You don't have to murder everyone, but I mean, what's the point of playing the game if you don't?
Yeah, I mean, we're
it's like playing
GTA
here. And then not just like shooting every prostitute in the game. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, you probably should. They're practically ATMs. You just got to hit them a little harder.
I mean, ATMs that already just took your money.
And my semen.
Old Frank the Ripper.
Hello, miss. Dude, that was a good movie, From Hell. Oh my god. Did you ever watch that?
No, I've been...
Get out of my house.
I need to, though. I've always wanted to watch it. I've always seen the poster.
Get off my screen. What is wrong with you?
Lots of things.
Oh my god,
actually.
It was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. That was a wonderful movie. I'm disappointed in you.
Me too.
Mama Coco, I'm so sad. Got to make an early abortion. I mean, you could do that with like a sedan too, though.
I mean, 2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for.
All right, we're getting a little crazy over here.
No.
Yeah.
We're still in range.
I am bringing us back to reality. Buzzkill Neil bringing us back to reality every single time.
I feel a tug in my boat anchor. Just bring it back down.
All right, I think we've done pretty good today, Frank.
I mean, how long we been? About an hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. That sounds like a good show.
I think it was a good show. We had a lot of
great show.
Visitors, which makes me very happy. Thank you so much for dropping by. We had some good content. At least
Insanity
I think it is. I mean,
can be the best conversation, except for that insanity, by definition, has actually no substance, and it's scattered, so it eventually it's no longer a conversation. It's just 2 people shouting at each other, which is actually pretty much exactly what we were talking about earlier. So, I mean, I guess like we could actually have like another definition of insanity is 2 people that are dug into their political opinions, and that they are just going to sit there and scream buzzwords at each other, which is just. I mean, you might as well take CNN and then Fox News and just point the TVs at each other and just let them run and just let people fucking yell at each other. Glorious. In what context would you disagree? Now I want to know. I'm curious.
All right, let's hear it while I cue up some outro music. Okay.
Well, see, this gives you time. Case in point. I don't know what we're talking about. Give me more specific.
There we go. Got some outro music going on.
I'm so proud of you. Is it going right now?
It's going right now. Of course you can't hear it.
Is it smooth jazz? Can it be smooth jazz?
Jack
Is it the
by
kind of
Iced
thing
Earth.
It's what?
Jack by Iced Earth.
So not shoot smooth jazz?
No, it's
So it's not something that I would probably want to wax my testicles to?
Frank the Ripper persona, you know?
Oh, cool. Perfect. I mean, I think so anyway.
Anywho, so if you like what you saw, like
right,
what you heard.
but again, like that in that same context, 2 people screaming at each other actually also further establishes my point that it actually lacks substance. Because if you have 2 people that are simply screaming at each other, nothing is actually being said. It's no longer a conversation. So insanity, by its definition, being scattered, being pointless, being undecided in its particular direction and thought process, is unable to actually be by itself to another person of equal insanity any kind of conversation. Now other people can have conversations about people being insane. Now that's a thing. We'd be like, can you believe Fred just fucking drove straight through that old Toys R Us? Crazy, right? It's even weirder that he was naked when he did it. And
Indeed.
that's the show.
That's the show. Let's leave on that notice. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, we are at dastardlygentleman.com. Pay us a visit, please. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. We'll do this again next week. We also have a tabletop that we play, Vampire the Masquerade. If you enjoy that sort of thing, we do that on Wednesdays, same time. So.
Also, youtube.com/dastardlygentleman.
Yeah, we're on there too. So subscribe there too, please. We have all our videos on there.
Which is the most important one.
Yeah, all of our videos are on there. We've got like 400 videos on there. No joke.
That's the one that I work on. That's the one that I appreciate.
Oh, there's Frank's little ego going.
Look, yeah, you're not wrong. Look, I love me some me. Someone's gotta like me.
I like you.
Ah, shut up.
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it, makes me laugh. Yeah.